ticket stubs and popcorn. I am one of your hosts, Frank.
I guess I'm the other one,
You are
Peter.
the other host, Peter. You are the only host, Peter.
Yes, the
You're
only
not the
host,
other
Peter.
host, Peter. You are the one and only host. Today we're going to be talking about Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
A long-standing Hollywood.
I got a question
you got a
for you.
question for you. Oh,
Before we
boy.
get to
You look very dapper
Kurt
today in
Russell.
your collared shirt.
I will even explain that. But let me just
Okay.
ask a question.
I feel underdressed.
Get a little polo shirt.
Serious, that's nice. You look so
Oh.
fancy.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
I don't remember when it was, but at some point you asked me a question about was there a cinematic car that we liked?
Yeah, and I
You know,
answered that badly because I didn't really have one.
And so you said, yeah, is there a car from a movie? And you know, and I think I said it at the time too. Well, I'm not really a car guy, but I did have an answer. But I'm not a car guy. But that made me think of a question that I do
right.
like architecture and stuff. So that made me think: is there a cinematic house
Ooh,
from a movie? You know that you
Yeah.
go, wow, I want that house, or I
That
wish I
house.
could have that
all
house.
right, cool. All right,
So you think about that one.
I will think about that one. All right,
And let me
I'll think about that.
while you're thinking. I'll tell you about the shirt.
Yeah,
the
give us
reason
a little bit
the
of background
reason
here.
I'm wearing
What's it?
this
This
shirt
is
is
Lowell Gallery.
Lowell Gallery.
So
When
it's
I was- when-
Lowell's that dude on Wings, right? Played
Yes,
by
and that's exactly what it's all about.
yeah.
We have a museum just
Yeah.
for that guy.
played by what the hell is his name?
Yeah, I do it.
He's a guy that
I
we
know he's
know,
a
and
guy.
he was in Sideways. He's got like one of those
Thomas
three,
Hayden
Thomas
Church.
Hayden Church. He's one of those
Yeah.
three namer guys.
Yes. No, I'm
It's
wearing this
nothing
shirt
to do with it.
because I am so excited about today's special guest with Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Our actor of the day is Kurt Russell, and the reason I'm wearing this shirt is my friend. I lost a dear friend 2 years ago, and my friend Guy, my brother from another mother, he really was. His favorite all-time actor was Kurt Russell.
Really?
So when I pulled him the last time, I was like, "Oh my God, Kurt Russell! I can't believe this. Guy would be so happy." But
All right, and
so and Guy had a little. My friend had a little frame shop, and he was a custom framer, and he would throw me a bone by giving me a few hours of work
oh, that's what you mean.
on Saturdays. So back in my hometown many years ago, Lowell, Massachusetts, I'd go in on Saturday, and we'd just spend the whole day. We probably didn't get much work done. We just would talk and eat pizza. But no, we would work. But he would.
maybe I'll get pizza
I would help him out. Corky, get on that one.
Corky, I want a pizza today.
And so my friend would help me out by giving me a few hours of work on the weekend, and I would help him out by being a second pair of hands at the frame shop, and it's wonderful. So he had these shirts made up for us, and I said, I'm going to do Kurt Russell.
You gotta
I'm gonna
bring out
honor
the-
my friend Guy, and I got the whole gal.
That's lovely.
So
That's lovely.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
I'll tell you
Happy
what my
birthday
friend-
to Kurt Russell.
Happy birthday.
Happy
70th.
birthday! 70th birthday coming up for Kurt
Yes,
Russell
on March 17th.
March 17th. So, yeah.
The only reason we know that is because when we pulled his name from the thing, Frank said, "Gee, I wonder how old Kurt Russell is." And I said, "It's probably about 70." And he said, "No." Then we look up, and it's like
Never would have thought
he's 70
he was
within
70.
days from now.
Yeah. So,
So,
who'd have thunk?
Yeah,
Buddy
and
thunk.
Kurt Russell.
Go ahead.
I've always enjoyed Kurt Russell. Like I said, my friend loved Kurt Russell. I've always enjoyed him. Here is as my friend Guy would say. Now going back, say like late '80s, early '90s, there was an actor. Well, he's still around. Kevin Costner, and Kevin Costner had made a name for himself in a short amount of time. So he was kind of like the Hollywood darling for like this little bit of time.
he was the one who always played like the earnest, like Midwestern American guy.
Yeah.
He's Elliot Ness.
Yeah,
he's
the
he's,
baseball bull.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of different
like,
ones.
So
He's in a lot of those things.
many of those, just like
So
white bread kind of dudes.
You get it. So he was getting a lot of press, and I remember my friend Guy would always say, "I'd take any Kurt Russell movie over any Kevin Costner movie."
Yeah,
that's just how he was.
he was
just
the Julia Roberts to Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, he just loved Kurt Russell, and Kurt Russell, to me, is one of those guys who will give you 100% effort 100% of the time, and it doesn't matter what kind of role it is, what format it is. Doesn't matter. If it's a made-for-TV movie, I'll play Elvis. You want me to play Elvis? I'll play Elvis for you. Made-for-TV movie
Even
way
as a
back in the
kid.
day. As a child
Gilligan's
actor,
Island.
he's on Gilligan's Island. He's lost in space, I think. Man from Uncle, whatever. And here's an actor who he kind of got into it. He was young, but then he really kind of got into it a little older, say like 10 or 12. But he's been in a movie with Elvis Presley, the real Elvis Presley. He's played Elvis other times, but I mean he's in a movie with Elvis Presley. He was one of Walt Disney's favorites. So he actually, because Walt Disney was the kind of hands-on producer, obviously he's a hands-on,
Unlike
person.
a Harvey Weinstein.
Not that kind of
Not
hands-on,
that kind
no.
of hands-on, different kind of.
And
hands-on.
so because Walt Disney just loved what he did and was the kind of person he was a control freak, definitely. But because he just loved that, he wanted his finger in every aspect of the thing.
Kind of like a Harvey Weinstein.
He would go down to, he would spend time and he would see the younger people who he had hired, he would always hire. So he had a very good relationship with Kurt Russell. And it's an urban legend that the last thing Walt Disney wrote was Kurt Russell's name. May or may not be true. He did write it down, and they did find it after he died. So they don't know where it takes place, but it is one of the last things he wrote was Kurt Russell's name. But anyway.
Rosebud was already taken.
It's already taken, so he's Kurt Russell. So Kurt Russell's been around and will do anything, and he will, it seems like he approaches everything the same way. Is this what you want me to do?
Yeah.
You want me to be on Overboard, Captain Ron, whatever, I'm going to do it. Is this what you want me to do? I'll do it. And because he's had a very long career, he's got a lot to pick from.
Yeah.
This was one of the hardest ones because I also wanted to be true to my friend Guy, but I got to be true to myself. But it was tough to kind of winnow this down to 3.
I agree. What'd you get? Where'd you go?
Tough stuff. Okay. I think my first one is, and it's what I think of first most of the time with Kurt Russell is Escape from New York. Okay. Snake Plissken. Oh man,
it's a good one.
Snake Plissken. He's like a master criminal, and then it's set in the future. And if you don't know the movie, just watch it. It's fun. It's definitely worth it. It's never explained, which is kind of fun. He's got an eye patch on.
Because
but it's not like you're going to ask him either, because he's just not going to mess with him.
I like to think that Kurt Russell is just kind of like walking through wardrobe.
And he goes,
and
hey, an eye patch!
No, he just went, he put it on, and they just,
said, okay, yeah,
fine, just go with it.
So it's a John Carpenter movie, and those can be fun. And
I think that people forget that John Carpenter used to be fun. Yeah. And that he's got such
he does obviously
huge horror cred. But
Yeah.
you know, when you look at something like Escape from New York or Big Trouble in Little China
Yeah.
or something like that, it's just like, oh yeah, that's right. This guy is
Yeah,
actually
yeah. He
got
can
a
have some-
weird little sense of humor,
Yes.
and they're fun.
And so he's Snake Plissken in Escape from New York. It's set in the future, which, believe it or not, the movie's so old now that their future is actually our past now. It's set in 1997. We're already long past that. But so New York City is a maximum security prison.
Well, so that came true.
Yeah, that part's the truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they just put a wall around New York. The guards aren't even. There's no authority inside. So they just keep people from trying to escape. So they're on the guards are like on the outside. They cover bridges, that sort of stuff.
Like Florida.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good
Escape
idea.
from Florida.
So the premise is that the president's plane gets hijacked, it's forced down in. So Air Force One is forced down in New York City.
And he's got to get him out.
And so they got to get the president out. And so they agreed the only guy that can do
Hilarity
it
ensues.
is the master criminal Snake Plissken. So in this movie, Kurt Russell worked out. He's buff in this
Yeah.
movie. And he's got that eye patch. He's got the hair. He's got the guns. And he just goes in. And he just goes in. And it's just wonderful. He plays this not so nice person on the surface, but he's charming at it.
Yeah.
He's wonderful. He's like, he snarls and like, growls his lines most
Yeah.
of the movie, and he's just great. And I just love that performance. Maybe if you watched it now, I mean, I've seen it recently, but what I mean is if you watched it now for the first time, you'd go, well, this movie's a little tame. Well, got to remember, it's 1981, so it was
Yeah.
pretty great. I remember I was in college, the movie came out, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And it was just a fun time.
Yeah.
Good
that
movie,
is
and
that
a
is
great
fun one.
performance. And I, even though he's been in however many, TV or movie, performances, that one sticks with me. I always enjoy that one. So that one's the first one I come up with. Second one that, like I said, very difficult to narrow these down. Second one is Tombstone, which really made my friend Guy very happy because it came out about, 3 months or so before Kevin Costner's Wyatt Earp came
Yeah.
out. And so it was really easy to like compare those
Right.
two movies. And I have to agree with my friend. I enjoyed Tombstone, where he plays Wyatt Earp better than Kevin Costner.
Yeah, no, I like
Wyatt
that one
Earp
better
in the
as
movie
well.
Wyatt Earp. So Tombstone, it's
It's a cowboy
it
movie.
takes place in a fairly short period of time. Wyatt Earp's kind of got a long name, a famous name, long reputation for a longer period of time. This takes place in a fairly short period of time. It's the 1880s. It does mostly take place in the time that he does settle in Tombstone, Arizona. So that also has the big gunfight at OK Corral as part of it. But he gets there. He's already been, like the sheriff of Dodge City, and he's kind of cleaned up that area. So he leaves Kansas, and they go down there, and he's with his brothers, who are also actually wonderfully played by Sam Elliott and Bill Paxton. And so they don't want to do what they just did. They're done now
Yeah.
fighting law. They want to maybe just make some money now. And there's things that are going on in the town, and they want to maybe make some money any way they can legally. And so there's legalized gambling already. So there is a gambling house, and they get in that, and they start to make money, and they don't want to get involved on the law enforcement side, which is what they used to do. So, but there's pressure, there's other stuff going on, and then of course, they're kind of forced into it. So the three brothers become, they're essentially the law in the town. And there's a lot of bad stuff going on, and then push comes to shove, the brothers get ambushed at some point. So now he becomes this fairly nice, he's still got a presence, but now he's like hell bent on
This
revenge.
time it's personal.
Yeah, he's hell bent on revenge, and he's got the badge to back it up.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's going about it the right way, but these are questions for bigger minds than ours.
Yes,
So
exactly. That way lies madness.
so it's just wonderful, and he's just I just love that performance. It's a great one. It's got it's got a pretty good supporting cast, and he's just got this. There is not just he is hell bent on revenge. He's going to go about it a certain way, and nothing's going to stop him. But what kind of fuels it is that he does have a love for the badge, for the law, but really he's got a love for his family, his brothers, and then he's got a wonderful relationship with Val Kilmer, who's outstanding in this movie as Doc Holliday. So he really, it's like a buddy film in a certain way. You just really, so one of his brothers does get killed eventually. Another brother does get paralyzed, and so this drives him more and that sort of stuff. So a Tombstone, when he plays Wyatt Earp, wonderful. And the third one, which actually he goes back to his Disney roots in this one. He in Miracle, he plays Coach Herb Brooks, which is the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team. And, the movie, it's formulaic. It's exactly what you'd expect. If you're old enough to remember the story, it's going to hit you in a certain way. It's a little corny. It's got this going on, sentimental. You say what you want, but his performance in this movie, and this is played by Kurt Russell, who doesn't necessarily physically resemble, facially resemble Herb Brooks, but how he acts, how he moves, how he's dressed, because it takes place in a time period. And it's just amazing, because he all he wants to do is become, the head coach. He is the head coach of the University of Minnesota hockey team, but he knows, every 4 years the Olympics come around. Right. He's got a shot at becoming, and he just so he really just wants to be able to become the head coach of the U.S. Olympic hockey team. He gets the opportunity, and now he has to pick. He's got to decide who he gets, and then he's got to, bring them together. Like I said, it's a little corny, it's a little formulaic, but for a movie about a hockey team with whatever, 24, 25, I forget, however many young men are on the team, he's the one that stands out. You're focused not all, but you're focused almost entirely on the coach. He's amazing in this one. It's not just, and he says it somewhere in the movie, no, I'm not your father. I'm not your best friend, and that's not what I'm gonna be. I'm the coach. I'm the boss. That's it.
I'm gonna lead you to victory.
I'll let my assistant coach be a shoulder to cry on if you want, but you're getting no sympathy from me. And he, which also bands them together as the team, which was his original plan. He says, if I can come across as being mean, that's going to pull them together against me. That's fine. I don't care as long as they stick together. That's all I want.
Yeah.
And so the physical conditioning, it just drives them crazy, whipping them into shape, and it's a movie that didn't come out like right after it happened.
No, it was like
it was like I don't know, like 2000. No, even more.
No,
I was
really?
gonna say like 2004, maybe the movie came out.
Yeah, it might have been
Somewhere around there. So this is 1980,
Huh.
and it really, if you're not old enough to like really remember, that was a miracle in the sense that they won the gold medal and that they beat the Russians earlier to get into the gold medal game. That part was a miracle, but that was not a good time. There was a lot of stuff going on in our history at the time, so you really kind of needed that shot in the arm, and that was in the middle of the Cold War. Hadn't had a very good track record with the U.S. Olympic hockey team. They were always there, but they were never really
I remember
medal
it,
contenders.
and not being a big hockey fan. I remember going, oh, and then just kind of went on with my life.
Well, I gotta tell you,
I was not even 12.
I'm a hockey fan, and that was just like, oh my god! And like I said, this is February of 1980, so November, just whatever, 2.5 months earlier, Iranian stormed the U.S. Embassy, took us hostage. It was at a really low point. Just a little before that, the Winter Olympics started, just a little before, I want to say close to, the beginning of the year, say January 1st or Christmas time, somewhere in there, Russia invaded Afghanistan, and then, so by the time the Winter Olympics was over, everybody was, up in arms about that one, and they
There's
were
about
asking.
a third of a Billy Joel song that was going on at the time.
And so they wanted, the U.S. did, a lot of other countries got on board and asked for Russia to get out of Afghanistan. They invaded, and they didn't, and so the U.S. actually boycotted the summer games. So, which made, in retrospect, the Winter Games even more important because that was all we were going to have for another 4 more years, and so that was this bright spot, was this improbable hockey victory over Russia, and then eventually won the gold medal, the next game.
The Winter Olympics.
Yeah, so it was
Only
just a
time
wonderful
someone
thing.
would ski with a rifle.
You got it, a little biathlon action. Yeah, why? Oh, it's okay because they're Scandinavian and that's what they do. Yeah, okay. Is that the excuse?
Because the ancient Greeks were like, you know what?
That's
You
right.
know what
We have plenty of snow here.
I heard about
Really?
this thing that people do.
We could put a
Anyway.
rifle on our back. So
those are
my
a good
three, and I love him. And let me just say, like I said, I struggled on this one. He's great. Sometimes the movies that he's in are not the best, but his performances are always there. He's always on his game. Backdraft, Silkwood. There were a few that I was like, oh man, I got a lot. And let me tell you, it killed me not to put in one of his Quentin Tarantino performances because he's phenomenal in those movies. And I'm a big Quentin Tarantino fan, as you are too. But I don't know, these three I felt were the best. These are my favorite 3 performances.
All right. Before I get on to mine, please, if you would, like and subscribe. Find us on Instagram and Facebook and all that good
Please
stuff.
And also, Ticket Subs and Popcorn T-shirt you're wearing.
Oh yeah, there's you can get those too. They're very cool, and you can get a mug, maybe a phone case. Why not? Right?
Ah,
So, Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
So, I will address your Quentin Tarantino
Yeah, oh, yeah.
fetish in a little bit.
Yeah.
But first, I want to. Some of our younger viewers will remember this movie. I watched it a whole bunch, and it's called Sky High.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
And it's it's this great little movie, and it was at this time before, kind of like before all the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
When superhero movies, they would just sort of like throw in like My Super Rex Girlfriend,
Yes.
or whatever.
There were
superhero movies about not really superheroes and stuff.
Right.
But he plays a Superman type
Yes.
dad in
Yes.
this high school
Yes.
where superheroes go to be either heroes or sidekicks, and it is hilarious. And he's really, really funny in it. He's done so much kind of more serious stuff.
But he does
for
comedy
this,
too, yeah.
which is total camp. It's just so much fun, and he just totally gets into that whole superhero vibe.
Yeah.
He just totally kills it. So that would be one of my
Sky
favorite
High, yep.
Kurt Russell ones.
Yep.
My next one is with actually one of his co-stars from that, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Death Proof, which in preparation for this I watched again. Now, I remember watching this movie in the movie theater back in my movie theater days.
You used to work in a movie
I used to work in a movie theater. So, and it was one of those things where we all got to, way back in the day, folks, before digital projection, you would have to build a movie, the actual physical film, and then we'd have to screen it to make sure there were no mistakes that somebody made putting it together. So we would screen the movie, and screening this movie was sometimes a bit of an event, especially with movies that were highly anticipated. So the whole Grindhouse thing was just awesome. It was a great screening event because all the cool folks were there, and we had a great time, and it was really, really fun. And this movie was just batshit crazy. And it's just so much, there's so much really good, fun stuff about it. And he's just, because you don't really, he always plays these weird little anti-heroes, you know,
Yeah, a
like
lot of
Escape
times.
from New York.
Yeah.
He's kind of a bad guy, but he does like the good thing, you know.
Yeah.
Big Trouble in Little China, kind of
Exactly.
the same thing, you know. Jack's just kind of just a rogue, you know.
he's a truck driver.
Yeah,
right?
truck driving
Just,
guy,
yeah.
you know, very loose and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, but in Death Proof, he's a bad guy,
Yes.
and he is creepy
Yeah.
as can be, and from the get-go. And I have to say that probably his creepiest in that movie. It's not
His
when he's
creepiest.
it's not when he's sort of driving and looking out the window. Not even when he's kind of like kind of fondling Rosario Dawson's like feet. All right, it's when
It gets creepier than that?
no, there's a creepier scene where he with Butterfly, where he's got his little book, you know, and he's doing this John Wayne affectation
Yes,
where
he
he's
does.
talking about, well, you know how they say you're okay in my book. Well, I've got a book, and you're going in my book because you're okay in my book, and it's just like, it was super creepy. It was just so perfect. And he gets so later in the movie when like Zoe Bell and Rosario Dawson, when they take him out,
When they, like,
and
gang
when
up on him,
they
yeah.
gang up on him, when they fight back,
Oh, yeah.
he is not used to that. He's
No,
he's
but he's also outnumbered.
He's also outnumbered, but he's also kind of whining about it. He's driving like, oh my God, like what is, they're coming after me? Because that doesn't happen. He creates a big, huge car crash, kills girls, and that's his thing. So, and then he gets his ass kicked at the end.
Oh, yeah.
And it's fantastic. But to see him that super creepy, and he's just the Kurt Russell, like he's got the look, like the Kurt Russell look that we've known for, 50 years.
Yeah.
Where he's just kind of like, it's like now he's like just this creepy dude, and it's just really, and he doesn't look his age. When we found out he was 70, I was really, really surprised, because in like,
I just guessed because of how old I am, and I know how old he approximately was when I was like noticing him, because we actually went to the theater to see The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes to go see this, so that was an early Disney, so I know
you got an idea.
That. Yeah.
So, but like in Death Proof, he looks like he's like early 50s, and that certainly wasn't 20 years ago. That movie's only about, excuse me, probably like 15 years.
2006 maybe? 7 maybe?
So,
I was actually at that screening with you.
I know. So great one there, and then my next one is going to be Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah. Fun.
Now, I may get a little bit of crap. I'm not. Sometimes I'm a bad Gen Xer. In that I saw Big Trouble in Little China when it came into the theaters.
Yeah.
86.
Something like
Okay.
that, yeah.
And saw bits and pieces here and there throughout. It's a little like over the years. I watched it again, preparing for this, and it's just, we talked about John Carpenter a little while ago, talking about how he can be kind of funny and weird and stuff.
Yeah.
And this is just like, there was stuff going on in this movie that I didn't remember. I'm just like, what is this? And it was just, I mean, he's fun in it, and it's a fun, crazy kind of movie.
Yeah.
And again, he's just fun, and that I think is sort of a quintessential Kurt Russell movie, kind of, in the 80s when he was like fun. It would not have surprised me to see Jack put on an eye patch.
Yeah.
because it was that kind of movie.
Yeah, when it came to the John Carpenter stuff and the fun, sort of, sometimes tongue in cheek,
The thing
sometimes
wasn't that much fun.
otherworldly thingy.
Yeah.
I went with The Escape from New York as opposed to this one, but I could definitely see.
And plus the special effects
He's
of
great.
Big Trouble in Little China are just terrible. It's
Well,
just,
it's
1986.
Yeah.
So, and it's crazy
But
now.
it's fun.
It's fun, but it get a little tedious. I'll be
Oh,
honest.
yeah.
It's just like, but it's amazing. I mean, like, just talking about the special effects. I mean, you can do more complex stuff on your phone.
Oh yeah, now you can.
So,
My goodness.
yay technology. So, and I was really close to. It's probably the only time in sort of movie criticism, if for Sky High to beat out Hateful Eight on a list of some sort.
See, I had trouble with the whole
Quintino,
Quintino
Hateful
like,
Eight.
I could have easily
fantastic.
picked.
Yeah. So, but Death Proof
seemed-
was just a lot more fun. The stuff that goes on in kind of the first, what I consider
Yeah.
the first half of the movie,
Right.
In the bar is just so great, and the music is fantastic, and it's all that great stuff. And I don't think that movie gets mentioned enough when people talk about
Right.
the
All of
Quentin
his
Tarantino,
Quintino's,
body of work.
Yeah.
So I think it's because it is sort of connected to the whole Grindhouse thing, and it's a bigger sort of event sort of thing. So.
Yeah, and then there were also ads.
Oh yeah,
within
ads.
the thing, and the commercial,
and
coming attraction,
yeah,
different
and
stuff.
then Machete gets made.
Machete gets
which
made.
was great.
It's Machete.
So so those would be my Kurt Russell.
Very good.
Yeah,
All right.
good stuff.
So while we just tell everybody to like and subscribe, share, check us out.
Do that little thumb thing.
You got
the upward thumb.
the up thumb or notification, the little bell, or whatever.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
All that stuff. I'm gonna do a quick little recap.
Yeah. Okay.
On your, Kurt Russell, can't go wrong. You picked Big Trouble in Little China.
Yep.
You picked Death Proof, which is part of the bigger Grindhouse movie that came out. And what was the other one you did? Sky High,
Sky High,
which is a great little
which is
one.
really good.
Yeah,
You had Tombstone,
Mhm.
and you had Escape from New York, and you had give me a hint.
Do you believe in
Magic? No.
close
What?
miracle?
Oh,
Believe in
yeah.
miracles.
Yeah,
That was Al
miracles,
Michaels' famous call at the end of the game.
Yeah. Ugh, hockey. Anyway.
Hey, come on!
so-
it was a good time.
So, House?
Yes, I
Cinematic
asked a
house.
question. I asked you a question.
Right.
Is
Yes.
there a cinematic house that you're just like, oh my god, I would love to?
Yeah, actually.
Want that house.
And I think the only reason that I'm sure that if I
Yeah, I mean,
really
yes.
thought, but the one that sticks
Yeah,
in
what's
my
like-
head
what are you coming out with?
right now is I recently watched a movie called The Lie.
Okay.
Yeah, recommended to me by one of our
Sounds
faithful,
really familiar.
yeah, one of our faithful YouTube channel viewers,
Yep.
Nif. It's sort of this suspenseful thing. It's about a high school girl who, pushes her high school friend off a bridge.
Oh.
And the parents are dealing with that. But
Yeah.
the house that the mom lives in, oh my God, it is just, it's very modern, very clean, very,
Yeah.
very clean lines. And it is just spectacular. The movie was fine. But I would watch this movie for the house.
house.
If you want to know what I'm talking about, the house, and I'll try to throw up some pictures.
Yeah, we'll
for
bring
it.
to the picture.
But yeah, it's a spectacular house. And
Very good.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous.
Well, it is funny because
It's very modern and almost European kind of looking in a way, like when you see like Scandinavian houses
Yep.
and stuff. It looks very much like that. But this was it's gorgeous.
It's funny and interesting how we did it with the car question, but the same thing this one. Sometimes you get taken out of a movie almost by going, oh my God,
Yeah.
look at that house, or wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible. There's stuff like that going on sometimes, and it really catches your eye. So for me, I've got two of them, but one of them is from Incredibles 2. Their house, the way that is drawn.
I haven't seen that movie.
You haven't seen Incredibles 2?
No.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious.
All right. It's this beautiful modern thing, like 50. It's incredible, mid-century modern.
Okay.
And it's also animated, but it's based on a few different houses. Oh, it's tremendous. I love that house because they had to rebuild the house because in the first movie, at the end of the thing, doesn't their house get destroyed?
I believe it does.
Yeah,
Now,
so-
there's a very specific reason I've not seen Incredibles 2.
I don't think I want to hear about it. Okay.
I'm sure I've mentioned it. but-
No, you have. I'm pretty sure.
Go
I
ahead.
think I know the situation.
What's the
But
other house?
the other one is there is a house up in Los Angeles, and it's the Ennis House, and it's was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright.
What was it in?
This house has been in Blade Runner.
Okay.
It's that big interior. That's this house, and they did it again in The Rocketeer. But I don't think they had access to the house. So what they did was they actually just made mock-up, full size of
that's
the rooms just for a few scenes in The Rocketeer. But this house, it's this weird, just big and beautiful. And inside it's like a Mayan block design. It's incredible. And it got used in a couple of those two movies. And so every time I see it, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, because I've been outside. You can't get inside. So I've been outside to take pictures. But, to like kind of be inside a little bit, kind of this weird little voyeuristic thing, like, whoa, this is a great house. So that was good. But if you start thinking about it, I'm sure I can this scene like in Godfather 2, the house up at Lake Tahoe. You know, there's things that
Godfather
start
2, the Godfathering.
Yes, the Godfather 2, the Godfather again.
It's kind of funny.
Never ends,
Anywho, it
does
just
it?
never ends.
No.
So,
but there's, you know, stuff like that one.
Yeah.
You know, I could start to think of other ones like, oh, well, oh yeah, this great movie. You know, this one's got a great house. And,
yeah,
you know, that sort of thing.
yeah, cool. What are we doing next?
I don't know. There we go. Yeah, not that one.
No, not that one. This is like five.
Yeah, stuck together.
All right. Okay, cool. She's cool. Yeah, nice. You know
Well,
what?
the good thing is, yep, you know, almost universally really like these performers, but I kind of Jones for like, you know, it's like, okay, I'm gonna have to do some homework, and this is gonna be good, you know. So you get to
Yeah. Well, we like all of them because we filled up the.
yeah, exactly.
If it was Corky doing it, we'd be like,
Ethan
you
Hawke,
know,
Ethan Hawke,
Yeah.
Hawke. How many times can we be put in there?
all right. So, you guys actually sort of kind of met Corky, kind of, sort of, you know, doing.
He was making some noise
chores, right?
downstairs, going out
Seriously.
the door. Was he taking out garbage?
I think
or
he was.
something? I don't know what he was doing.
I think he was bringing in my pizza. So, thank you,
It is
Corky.
time.
It is time. So, thank you for watching. Thanks, Corky, for getting the pizza. And
Don't say anything because we're not paying you.
well, you don't get no speaking parts. And we'll just see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Take care.
Bye bye. Thank you, Corky. You did a good job this time.